It is not always that you have such a lovely weather and a ride that complements the weather, but I have been lucky enough to get the 2018 edition of the Honda Jazz and this lovely weather together. So let's find out what is new in this 2018 edition and how it is, and has it become any better than it already was. Admittedly, not much has changed in this new edition, and if you look at the front, it will remind you of the previous version because it is quite identical. You get this chrome slat at the front, you have halogen lamps. Sadly, they could have been LED lamps or LED DRLs could have been added, but they are not there. You get the fog lamp over there, and the whole front kind of points downward. Even on the side, there is not much to notice except for these chrome door handles, and you can get them if you go for the base variant. You still get the body colored door handles. You get alloy wheels. These are 175 by 65 R15 tires that they are studded on. The biggest change, of course, comes at the rear, where you find this LED wing light. It is basically the tail lamp extending into this vertical pillar on the boot lid, and it does actually look quite smart and quite nice. It gives the rear a quite nice and chiseled character. You again have this chrome strip, and in my opinion, the rear section is the most happening section of the car out of all three sides, and it really is the best part to look at. The rear 3/4, if you look at it, it simply looks fantastic. The moment you step inside the new Honda Jazz, you'll notice that the infotainment screen has changed. Now you get a 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system that is compatible with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and the touch response also is quite responsive, and it offers a lot of features, out of which the biggest one that people would appreciate is satellite navigation. Now you can use the navigation within the car and get to places, which is pretty great. You get automatic climate control, and you also have, in this top spec variant, you get engine start stop, and you also have a smart key as well. When it comes to space and storage areas, the Jazz has always had plenty of those, and you also have this handy glass holder right here on the driver's side. The seats are quite comfortable. The cushion is nice and soft, and you get bolsters to keep you in place. The support for my back, my thighs is plenty, and I also have a lot of headroom. As you can see, I'm about 6 feet tall, so if you're about that height, you can be assured that you have enough headroom, and even the legroom is plenty. The seats can also be manually adjusted for height, so you can use the lever right here and change the seat height to your liking, which is a nice addition. And the outside rear view mirrors are now electronically adjustable, which makes this car even easier to use and steps it up against the competition. Another big addition on the inside is the center armrest. While it is not slidable, it does pack in a lot of space underneath and is a nice place to perch your free left arm, which is largely idle, especially while driving the automatic. I also like the addition of a vanity mirror for the driver. You also get plenty of charging points and power outlets. So you have two USB ports, out of which one is a 1 amp and one is 1.5 amp, and you have a conventional 12-volt socket right here. The steering wheel is only adjustable for tilt but not for reach. So ladies and gentlemen, now I am in the second row of the Honda Jazz, and once again it does not fail to impress when it comes to space that you have for the occupants. I have adjusted the seat to my height, the driver's seat, and I still have loads of room to stretch my legs out. There is enough knee room and I can stretch my legs, as I said, and you also have a decent amount of headroom as well, which is good. So you have a lot of space. Two things that I miss in this car are the seat back pockets that you get in some cars, and you also do not have an adjustable headrest. There are no dedicated vents for the second row, but the air conditioner at the front is more than capable of cooling this car quite quickly. so that's not going to be a problem. The spacious and class-leading boot space of 354 liters is still present on this new Jazz, and as you can see, we have thrown in 2 bags which are resting there quite nicely. They have a lot of space, so if you throw in a couple of more bags also, you can easily store all of them without much hassle. And there is a bit of a loading lip, but the lower height of the boot makes it easy to easily take bags in and take them out as well. So, how is the new 2018 Jazz when it comes to driving? Well, it's actually pretty much like how it used to be, because there is no change mechanically speaking, and most of the changes are just cosmetic. So, what we are driving is the 1.2 liter petrol IV-Tech engine, and it is mated to a 7-speed CVT. You can get the 1.2 petrol with a manual transmission, and there is also the option of having a 1.5 liter diesel, but that is only limited to a manual transmission. There is sadly no automatic for diesel lovers. So what you get essentially is the same trusty 1.2 liter petrol engine, which is very refined, and it packs in about 88.7 horsepower, which comes at 6,000 RPM, and about 110 Newton meters of torque, which comes at 4,800 RPM.
The Jazz has enough muscle under the hood to take on city roads and can even service you well on highways thanks to the cruise control. Maintaining triple-digit speeds on this car is no problem at all.
This 7-speed CVT gearbox is actually quite likable, and when you're driving like a good boy, the gear shifts are hardly noticed. Only when you punch it will you feel the gear shifts, and in normal usage you won't notice the gear shifts at all. And if you still want some more control over the shifts, then Honda has provided paddle shifters.
There is also a sport mode which results in a more aggressive engine response.
It is fantastic how great the brakes work despite it raining today quite heavily, and even the tires, they have been quite fantastic. The 15-inch tires, they have provided a ton of grip. Never once did I have any kind of slipping or uncertainty. Even right now, as we are taking this turn at about 60 km/h, it's quite fantastic. Speaking of broken roads, if you encounter one, you will not be thrown a lot around the cabin when you are in the Jazz, because the suspension has been tuned quite nicely and it absorbs most of the bumps and most of those broken roads, so which is really good if you're using this car for everyday city riding. So with this 2018 version of the Jazz, Honda has basically added a slew of features which now have become standard to a car that was already quite lovable. The driving dynamics of this car are quite likable. They're pretty serviceable for city use and even for highways, especially the cruise control is a very nice addition.
With this new edition of the Jazz, Honda has also made features like 2 airbags, ABS and EBD standard. The inclusion of the touchscreen and armrest are meaningful additions.
But I still feel that there are certain things which Honda could have added more to this car to really make it a clear winner, because the price of the car starts from 7.35 lakh rupees ex-showroom Delhi and goes all the way up to 8.99 lakh rupees ex-showroom Delhi, which is the variant that we are driving now. It is the VX CVT variant and it's the most expensive one. So if you're paying that much, I feel the customers would want a tad bit more. Don't get me wrong, this is not a bad car. It's just that the competition has heated up a whole lot.